Okay, I got back from the Knapping in Brady, Texas, and I didn't do any filming over there, so I didn't post anything. In case you didn't know, I was at a Knapping. That's where I didn't post videos. I got this at the Knapping. I bought this heat treat. It says 525 degrees Fahrenheit. So I was wondering what to choose for tonight, and I'm thinking I'm kind of tired, so I'm not going to pick something too difficult to nap. This looks all nice and easy to nap, supposedly. So let's try it out. And I can use the Debitage too. It's got a nice color to it. It's a piece of tabular, but this is not the usual tab that's tabular, that's transparent or translucent. This stuff is opaque, like a jasper. Opaque meaning that you can't see through it. So it's like a jasper. Yep. Pretty high grade stuff when it's heated. I don't know what it's like when it's not heated. Although I have napped some stuff like this. Owl Creek yellow. Some of it's flat like this. But what is it exactly? Is it a silicified limestone? Is it a chert? I don't know. It's a good question. I'm wondering that myself. And I'm wondering what this is like in the raw state. It's probably not that good. And you can't tell it's a heat treat because it's not glossy or anything. Seems just like a regular stone. And I've seen artifacts made with stone of this color and texture. You know, it's still kind of dry, but it's easy to nap. It shows the flake scars well. So yeah, the artifacts may have been heat treated if made from this stuff. Yeah, see, I can use those flakes for nice little bird points. Yep. Am I making many bird points lately? Not lately. Not too many. Everybody wants the big stuff. So I gotta pay for gas and all that, so I gotta make the big stuff. My list of napkins is almost complete. I'll be posting it soon. Some of the napkins are coming up shortly, so I gotta post them quickly. This summer is very busy for napkins. Niblett's Bluff napkin is coming up this coming weekend in Louisiana. So if I don't get to posting the whole list, I'll post a partial list of whatever I am aware of coming up soon, so you don't miss it. Alrighty. I should probably post it tomorrow, huh? Post my partial list tomorrow. Yeah, probably will. Nice. I had a guy recently ask me about napkins in Ohio. Just the Flint Ridge. There's one coming up. spring. They have, I think they have two Napkins now for Flint Ridge. One in spring and one in fall. And the one in spring's coming up. So I'll post a date on that one. Stuff like that. You can look on Facebook and stuff for the Flint Ridge. I'm pretty sure Puget Sound Nappers has the info on the Flint Ridge napping also. The Niblets Bluff, I think Puget Sound Nappers has the info on that one too. Puget spelled P-U-G-E-T. Puget Sound, S-O-U-N-D. Nappers. They got their act together. They got their act together. So yeah, I'm just reposting from various sites, trying to get everything together in one spot. Eventually I'll be doing a lot more nap-ins, or going to a lot more nap-ins. So I need a list for myself. So if I'm going to make a list for myself, I might as well publish it, because I get questions all the time. Where do I go? I'm in blah blah blah. Where do I go for napping? I can't find any. Sometimes I'll tell them and they go, heck, I live right in the town next door. Never heard of it. Yep. Some guys have been napping for a long time and they don't know they're like within 30 minutes of a nap-in. So I'll begin posting. Yep. Why haven't I just posted as I go? Because I want to get a format going. I don't want to copy everyone else's format. I want to repackage it. Repackage it in the way that I would use it. Because I'll do more research than what the nap-in posts. You know, I'll actually look on the map and see if I can decipher what the location is and find the zip code if they did not provide the zip code. Find the actual physical address if they did not provide the physical address. Maybe call a contact or two, make sure that the napping is still going on and not canceled. That kind of thing. Nothing more frustrating than to try to go to a nap-in and find out it's canceled by arriving and there's nobody there. That's finding out the hard way. That's not a good thing. And yes, they do cancel nap-ins, unfortunately. It's kind of rare, but you know, with my luck and your luck, you'll be the one that goes to the 1 out of 1,000 nap-ins that gets canceled. And no one said anything, or you didn't get the memo. Yep. So yeah, I did a lot of spalling over there at the nap-in, as per usual. Very generous people gave me stuff to nap, and can you nap this? Is it nappable? Is it good? Can you nap it on video? Yeah. Cool. Just can't do it right away. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'm not awake enough or feeling chipper enough to do it justice. So I'll wait until I feel well or mentally awake before I nap it. That kind of thing. I'm getting quicker on the turnaround than I used to be. It used to take me forever to do some some planned knappings. I would have it on my to-do list, but it would take me forever to get around to it. I remember I used to have a list. It got up to over 80 items. I said, man, these things, I gotta try to group them together so I can cover more than one base with each video. Because if I just do one topic per video, even if I start doing videos every day, if it gets out that I'm doing videos by request, there's way too many. And besides, I've already done videos on some of the topics people want. That kind of thing. And it almost takes me a longer amount of time or more time to look up my previous video and post a link to it for them than it does for me just to make another video. So in that case, I'll make another video, but it could be like the 10th one I've done on such and such a type of point. So I don't know if it's, I don't know how worth it is. I don't know how worth it is it sometimes. But it appears that if I do one every day, it's easy to catch up. Yeah, that I will grant you. If I do one every day and pay attention to my to-do list, it does start to catch up. And, you know, it'll overcome the to-do list, and then eventually there'll be nothing there and I'll be all caught up. Yeah. I get stuff from way back. I'm starting to get caught up, actually. I'm starting to scrounge around for stuff that is requested. I got lists in various places on my phone, in my old notebooks. Sometimes I have a to-do on my shipping list. You know, I write down real quick because I get an email. I get both emails for requests and for shipping information and blah blah blah. So I have my shipping list out, and I'll jot down the to-do on my shipping list, so they'll be there, and they won't be anywhere else. So I had to go. I'm going through my shipping lists to see what I wrote down for notes that were not, you know, send to this address. That kind of thing. I'm getting caught up. Starting to, yeah. Alright. So this turned out to be nice and heat treatery. Except it's got, I made issues. Did I install those issues? I might have installed the issues. But for otherwise, this is cool. Nice. I would not have thought to get this material that hot. 525. I figured it would be good around 425 or something. And no, it seems to be pretty nice. I got a new steel rod, and I did contour it. I don't know if I contoured it on video. I used the heck out of this at the Knapping. This new steel rod. My other one got really short. I don't know how long I used it, but it was a good long while before I had to replace it. I didn't have to replace it, but it's so much easier when it's longer like that. Alright. Here we go. Next stage. You could tell it was the next stage because I cleaned up a little bit. Yeah. Yep. I can still use these little flakes for bird points, but I usually offer them to you guys. There seems to be a good demand for these little debitage. This is a debitage flake, right? because it's really thin, kind of curved, so it's not really something you can make a bird point out of, unless it's a miniature one. I mean, not just a small one that looks like a blowgun dart point, but a miniature one. But this one, I can use this for an actual arrowhead, bird point arrowhead. See the comparison? They're both, you know, surface area wise, you know, comparable, but thinness. There's no meat on this one down here, so consider this a debitage flake. I'll offer this separately in a separate box. I just threw it in a separate box. And that's a debitage flake, but someone can play around with it, so I toss it in a debitage flake box. Offer it in the auction. These are debitage flakes. They're really thin, kind of curved. You can get a bird point out of some of these, but there it is. I put it in the debitage box. And I'm going to save this for the bird point flake box. Alright. I was classifying them as small, very small, medium, large flakes, but I think what I'll do is the very small ones, I'll just call them debitage flakes. These here, debitage flake. And then bird point flakes are thicker and generally bigger. And then small to medium, you know, 2 inches and larger, but not more than 3 inches. And then the mediums will be like 3-inch flakes. That's a debitage. That kind of thing. I'll get a system down. I've been sorting flakes all day. I got a bunch of flakes from the Knapping, and that's what I like to do. I like to collect debitage a lot of times so I can sample different materials. But I have a new incentive now, is offer them in boxes for sale. Yep. So yeah, I talked to some other professional nappers. There are professional flint nappers out there, right? But usually they don't do only flint napping. Although I talked to a guy that he gets orders for several dozen blades at a time. Like, I think his latest one was a 5 dozen blades ordered by one person. 5 or 60 blades, that's 5 dozen. And they usually want them within a week or two. You know, knife makers and such. Oops. They order blades by the dozen. So you supply those. That's strictly flint napping, right? But you also can supply, and they also do supply, napping tools, grinding stones. I found out these come from various different places. Some of these are used for cleaning grills, like cooking grills, the flat ones. Some of these are used for smoothing out concrete, to polish concrete with. Some of these are used within machines that polish stones. Like these are, you put like 5 or 6 inside of a machine, and it polishes stone. So you get these from various different industrial sources, and you can also get these sharpening stones for, I don't know, various tools, maybe axes and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, it's not just one source for these. What I'm trying to say, there's various sources for this type of a braider, and when it chips, it's very shiny, sparkly. It's not like the other grinding wheel type stuff that I've been getting. This is all sparkly. So So who knows? Some of you guys know exactly what this is for. You get them from machinist supply places. I've never been inside a machinist supply place. Do they actually have walk-in ability to just walk into their production floor and say, I know you're going to use that for machinery. Quick, can I buy it? Or do you have to be an employee of the company in order to get it ordered and all that? Who knows? Anyway, I could supply grinding stones if I get my sources down and spend money and get it building up an inventory and start doing that side of the business. I talked to a guy, that's what he does a lot too. He stocks up inventory of various different things. Related to Flintknapping. Not only rocks, but tools and materials. And you can even start hiring people to make stuff. Yep. If it's highly repetitive, or you can train someone to do it and it's not that difficult. I talked to one person that had employees working for him for a while. A bunch of part-timers, but it didn't work out so well. But he wants, he's going to do it again. But he was saying, yeah, you can make some money if you hire employees and get a shop going and get a bunch of customers. And I said, dang, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. I'm an artiste. I want to be an artiste. I didn't tell him that. I was just all ears listening. I don't know much about that side of the business, but some guys have been doing that for a long time. Yeah. So how do you make 60 blades in a week? I don't know. Flake over grind mostly is what I'm seeing. You don't do it randomly like this. You get all fancy with the machinery. Grind everything ahead of time and then just flake it. Flake the surface. That's it. You grind it down so the whole thing is just convex on all sides and the edge is just right, ground down, everything's nice and smooth, and all you do is run flakes and you're done, right? Of course, there's time involved in grinding it, but you don't have to spall it down. You don't have to work with the nodules. You just slab the nodules. Some of the slabs are good, some are not. You can pretty much tell which is good and which is not by the cracks in it. Sort them all out. I don't know what they do with the reject slabs. Forgot to ask that question. What do you do with the rejects? They probably just toss them out. I bet you there's some bird points in the toss outs. Yep. Potential for bird points in the toss outs. Yep. Yeah, so this is pretty good stuff. Anyway, it's fascinating talking to other nappers. Oh, yes. Very diverse crowd. Lots of different backgrounds. Lots of different occupations. A lot of retired people. Lots of students. You know, just regular students studying something. But they got a hobby. It's funny when you meet someone that's like a finance major, but his hobby is Flintknapping. Totally unrelated. You would think they would probably be into history or archaeology, but no. What's your major in college? International business. But then they're doing Flintknapping. So what's the appeal of Flintknapping? It must be varied for different reasons. And the people who watch the videos will watch for different reasons. For those of you who are new to the channel, talking about you guys, a lot of you guys just watch for background noise or for relaxation. Yep. Some of you guys just fascinated by how-tos. How do you do it? How do you do this? How did they do that? I'm going to speculate how they used to do it according to what I'm seeing on video. So it gives me fruit for speculation. Fruit for contemplation and speculation. Some people, they love contemplating and speculating. Thought experiments and fantasies. Oh yes. Not talking about those kind of fantasies, alright? Fantasies on like how they used to do it. They wanted to be the first to come up with a new idea. I think I know how they did it. New idea. Unpopular opinion, perhaps. Here goes. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what goes on in the minds of the YouTube watchers? The lurkers, most of the people that don't respond or comment or subscribe or like, they just watch for 5 minutes and 42 seconds. It's 28 minutes. We already lost most of those guys, so I can talk smack about them behind their back. They don't know. Yep. Yeah, some of them probably say to themselves, he's not doing it right. He's not really Flintknapping. I mean, the flakes are coming off, but that's not Flintknapping. Not the real stuff anyway. Yeah, I don't get that so much anymore. So what's my issue at this stage? I'm starting to fail, right? The issue is trying to drive in flakes from a thin edge doesn't seem to work on this very well. Like typical heat treat. Also, I'm not paying attention to the edges as much as I should be as to what would work better and what is failing, so I don't repeat it. What is working so that I can repeat that? What's going on with some of it? Is that, I don't know if it's condensation. I got the heater in the background. It got really cold today. Well, comparatively speaking, it's not that cold. But cold for the season. It was like 90 degrees not too long ago, a few days ago. Now it's down to 40. That's a big temperature swing. So it feels, when it's a big temperature swing, it feels colder than it actually is. Because, yeah, your brain is expecting to wake up in the morning all nice and toasty. And the weather hits you in the face. Mother Nature slaps you in the face and goes, no, 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 not yet. Don't get too comfy. Yeah. So what am I doing? I'm getting more narrow and narrower, and I'm not really accomplishing much. I'm just getting used to it, that's all. It might respond better with aluminum. I'm reaching that phase where I can't be experimenting. I got to be thinning this without making mistakes. These are mistakes. This type of stuff. This is all mistake stuff. Yeah, I can brush it away and get rid of a lot of it, but then I lose length, right? The ultimate taboo. Cannot lose length on your point, because that's how you sell it. You sell by the length, right? Per inch. Yeah. I mean, that's where you get the formulas from. You look at the market value and you come up with a formula per inch. And then once you get good at knowing what the market value is, you can start setting the price. I prefer to continue auctioning off items and not setting the price. Yeah. Auctioning pretty much, guarantees that I'll sell the item. I don't want to stock up on items that don't sell, or have to restock my items for next week or whatever. All right, let's see what we got. Yeah, where was I? Anyway, I was talking to a few nappers, and I was saying to myself, yeah, I want to be an artiste. I don't know if I want to get up into the inventory side and stock a lot of inventory. But you never know. Who knows? It's not one of those things you can get rich at. That's for sure. Unless you have lots of employees, I suppose. Yeah. I don't know how big a company can become catering to this type of hobby. Or pastime. I admit I lost part of the tip, but this tip is kind of crunchy. Unfortunately, the tip ended up being in some crunchy material. Someone asked me to do a Snyder's, but this is Texas chert, so I don't know how cool it would be to do a Snyder's out of Texas chert. Or yeah, Snyder's was asked if I can do a big one. See, they want big ones. They don't want the little ones. They don't want little Snyders. Oh man, that's little. Anybody can do that one. That's probably what they're thinking. It's just little. I don't care. If I don't see them in books, the big ones. I want to see a big one. Yep. I want to see you make a big one out of good material so I can go make a little one out of bad material. Yeah. The way I learned to make a bad one out of, make a small one out of bad material, the way I learned how to do that is if I watch someone make a big one out of good material. Yeah. That must be what they're thinking, because I don't know. Most new nappers got bad material and they're making small points. But they want to see someone with good material make a big point so they can learn. What are they learning? Jealousy? What are you learning from that? No, it's not to learn. It's to see the potential. It's not to learn, okay? Yeah, I know. Everyone's caught up in what is the potential? What can you do? What can be done? What can be done? I want to expand my brain into areas so I can understand what can be done. That's what they're thinking, right? I'm thinking that's what they're thinking? Or am I guilty of contemplating and thought experimenting and being a hypocrite? Talking smack about the contemplators and thought experimenters. It's a good question. I'll let you answer it, because I'm not going to answer it in a negative way. I'm going to make it a good thing. Yep. Isn't that the way it works? It's funny, I don't meet too many archaeologists that attend Napkins. Yeah. Or if they are, they don't say that they're archaeologists. I've met vocational archaeologists, people that do it in their spare time. They don't have a degree, or they do, but they're not employed in the profession. They might have a degree in archaeology or anthropology. It's rare to find someone with a degree in actual archaeology. Most of it's anthropology. Where's my pet? No, don't tell me. Oh. Yeah. Sometimes you find them at Napkins, but not usually. So, I guess the Napkins are for the professionals. The professional nappers mainly? Or people who want to learn how to be professionals? I don't know. I figured it was a place for me to scrounge material and pick up advice. Advice on how to be artistic. Yeah. Not professionalistic. Alright, so I gotta clean up this surface. How do I clean it up? The aluminum seems to be working okay, but I'm not seeing a lot of big flakes from the aluminum. Let me try it again. Some of you might be saying, well, you're just not hitting it right for the big flakes. That's why you're not seeing them. Yeah, I know. That's the way it always is, just not hitting it right. I gotta hit it right. I'm trying to hit it right, and I'm not getting it to travel in the correct ways. Yeah. I'm having to damage control a lot. I hit. Sometimes it's successful. Sometimes it's not. And I try to damage control, and sometimes the damage control is successful, sometimes it's not. This is a heat treat, but it's not really acting much like a heat treat. It's acting like high quality raw. Does that affect the way I approach the napping? In a way, it kind of does, because I'm expecting the flakes to come off pretty easily. Like a heat treat, like normal, regular heat treat. And they're not doing it. So I'm trying to adjust my technique to the edge and technique to the surface. Change up the tool material. How do I get this nice and smooth and big bold flakes the way I like it? And learning on the fly. Yeah, basically learning on the fly. It's not always successful. You get this kind of stuff, you lose length. Once in a while you get a flake that goes really good, and you go, wow, that's what I need right there. But what did I do? I'm seeming to do the same thing over again, but the results are not the same. What's the matter? Maybe the napping is catching up with me. And I think I'm doing stuff right, but I'm missing something. Maybe I should just quit and let you guys, one of you guys will finish it. Or you'll make it into a tomahawk head. You'll just put notches on here and just make it into a tomahawk head. Nothing wrong with that. It's easy peasy. Yeah. That's an easy peasy project. Nothing wrong with easy peasy. Some of you new guys just tuning in, you go, oh, I didn't even think of that. I can make a tomahawk out of that. Yeah. Didn't even think of that. I was gonna pretend it was a hand axe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which way do you hold a hand axe? Like this? Or like this? Or like this? The answer is yes. No, I don't know. I have no idea. If I was using a hand axe, I'd be using it as a weapon, and I'd be using it like this. Boink. I would puncture. Yep. I would be the you call me the puncturer. Some people are called the Terminator. What's another one? The Avenger. I'd be the puncturer. What'd you do, man? I punctured their teepee. Yeah, punctured it and ripped it open. Why'd you do that? Well, they're the enemy, right? I suppose. Warfare is so stupid. Yeah. Yes, it is. Sorry. I mean, I'm trained, I'm prior military, but I don't believe in war and stuff. I think it's stupid. I believe that we need to be trained to fight, because without that training we become victims. But I don't believe in initiating war. Crazy? Or doing things just because someone's your enemy. Doing things you normally wouldn't do. Act the way you normally wouldn't. Acting all stupid. Yeah. I'm saying stupid, I'm being nice. Anyway, a lot of these stone artifacts were weapons. That's why I get into that. And yeah, I believe that they're weapons. A lot of these. Not just for hunting and gathering food, because you don't really need stone for hunting. You can use bone, you can use wood projectile points, bone projectile points. Bone works very well, actually. It's a lot easier to control, and you can get more consistent results with bone than you can with stone as far as making the stuff. You can control the seasoning, or the what do you call it, you know, the drying out of the bone to get the consistent results. If you use the bone from the same animal, you get the feel for the characteristics of the bone. It's a lot more reliable than trying to depend on stone characteristics. And blah blah blah. Yeah. You don't need it for hunting. You don't need stone for hunting. But you do have an edge over your opponents if you have stone weapons as opposed to bone weapons. The main advantage is the sharpness. You can create horrendous wounds with stone. Wounds that will bleed out your opponent. Yeah. Terrible wounds. So, yeah. Anyway. What I'm trying to do now is clean up the surface. I don't need to go much thinner than this. So I'm cleaning up the surface. Trying to use the methods that I learned on the fly to make effective flakes. And the effective flakes for me are the broad, shallow, smooth flakes without step terminations. Feathered out flakes. And it's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Yep. That was a running joke at the Napping. Yeah. One of the rules of Flintnapping is it gets smaller and smaller. Yeah. Imagine that. Why is it happening? It's getting smaller. Yep. Amazing how that happens. It's remarkable. It's supposed to be getting smaller and prettier, not smaller and yuckier. Yeah. The danger is when you get smaller, it gets smaller and yuckier. You don't want that to happen. It's supposed to be smaller and prettier, nicer, and more fantasticer. Why don't I talk with all technical terms? Why do I make up words? I don't take this too seriously, that's why. I don't get all bent out of shape if it doesn't go right. Or I don't get all bent out of shape if I think I might be deviating from a consensus. Consensus might say I'm not doing this right. You're not doing it correctly, according to the consensus view. Most people won't do it this way. So you're wrong. Or at least you're bucking the trends, man. You're not supposed to be bucking the trends. Makes you look odd. Yeah. They don't tell you that. But the people who believe in trends and consensus, they'll be thinking and they'll be looking. You're doing it in an odd way. I'm going to change the channel. Yep. It's not real Flintknapping. I say that a lot in my videos. Because I still see it once in a while. I see the attitude once in a while. So I'll just talk smack about him. Yep. It's not that common, actually. Yeah. Did it do it? Ooh, I almost did it. I almost got into that area to clean it up. It's all crunchy in the middle, like usual. Yeah. I'm not going to work too much more on this. I'm coming up on an hour. Some of you guys who might be thinking of buying this one, you might be thinking, just do a little bit more refinement, because there's no way I'm going to be able to shoot flakes like that to fix it up. Yep. Alright, I'll do a little more refinement on it. I'll try to get rid of the chattery stuff in the middle. All the ugly stuff. The wonky edge. Get rid of the wonky edge. One thing about this material is the edge doesn't act normally. Normally when I abrade it, it wipes out the weak spots. But in this case, it acts a little bit weird. It leaves some places really weak and some places really strong. Well, that's kind of strong there. But there's a weak spot right here. Yeah. So if I would have hit that platform, probably wouldn't have gone right. And some of this looks strong, but yeah, this one is strong. That one looks and is strong, but right here, let's see, it's a little bit crunchy. Yeah, a little bit steppy. I could get rid of the Crackiola. Come on. Am I just weak? What is going on? Yeah, it's acting kind of funny. Yeah. The material is easy to knap, but it gets kind of slippery. I don't know how else to explain it. When you braid it, it gets a little slippery. Because it abrades too well, I suppose. I don't know. Look at that. It's eating my aluminum for lunch. Alright. So you're going to be like that? Is that the way it's going to go? Alright. See if you eat that for lunch. Big old strong platform and nothing happened. It didn't go right. There we go. See, this is what you're supposed to do. This one is supposed to do that. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. When I can admire it and go, ooh, look at that, it's so cool. Now this down here, that's not so cool. Yeah. Oh well, I cracked it. See that? That's the inward force. The inward force produces those radial cracks. Luckily, it didn't go very far. That was what they call a Uralier flake. Don't ask me to spell that one. That one's hard. I don't even use that word, Uraliers. Uralier flakes. That's an archaeological term for a little flake underneath a big flake. I don't know. I think that's the definition for it. See, I installed a curve there, but I still need to get this off. I need to get this step fracture out. I'm going to be shooting flakes across this way. So hopefully they'll straighten it back out. Hopefully. If I don't mess it all up. It's already much smaller than it was. I didn't even measure it. Yeah. So you don't know just how small it is, comparatively speaking. See, this is all nasty. I tried to clean it up, but now it's all nasty. And I can't do anything about it because it's already going to be too thin. That's the danger. Yep. Some of you might be saying, seriously? You're going to leave it like that? Seriously? Yeah, I'm going to leave it that way. Seriously, dude? Yeah, I'm going to leave it that way. Man. Okay. Let's see if we can thin down this thin piece. And I didn't have a choice, right? I couldn't even leave it thick because it didn't even look good as a thick piece. Some of this heat treat is not that easy to create that smooth look to it. Yeah. Come on. That was a hard hit and it didn't go anywhere. See that? That means I got to take back the edge a lot to create a really stout platform or a striking area. That's exactly what I don't want to do. But it's making me do it. I don't have a choice. I want to clear that out and straighten it back out. Some of you might be thinking, this is highly disappointing. I was hoping to see an expert do this. Well, I guess I'm not at the top of my game or something. I don't know what's going on. I honestly don't know. I just hit that super hard, just like I hit this one. And look, that's all I got. That's all I got. Now, I don't know, I can't remember if I used steel on this one. I think I used steel on that one to get it to go. Now I'm using steel on this side to get it to go, and it's not going. So yeah, you're not the only one disappointed. Alright. I really braided that sucker. That's gonna go, or break it in half. Okay. Finally, but it didn't go very deep, so it didn't really cure the problem. Did we do it that time? Or are we going to get a bunch of steppiness? Ooh, it didn't do it, although it didn't go there. Okay. Speaking too soon. It did manage to go. Hold on. I can pick the rest of it out, right? But it still, it got steppy. It went there. It went down this way. And it went this way. See, that's a complicated flake there. It was a strong platform. It did go this way. It hit something and pow, sent that flake. And then it tried to go up this way and it got stopped by something. And this flake traveled really well on this side, this leg of the flake. But it installed some steps right where there wasn't any before. I don't think. Yeah, the joys of trying to thin down a thin piece. Maybe I should stop doing it. Yeah. Well, if I did, I wouldn't show you how much practice is required to thin down a thin piece. You wouldn't even know. You'd have no fuel for your contemplations. Your contemplations would peter out. Run out of gas. If I didn't show you how difficult it is, even with lots of practice, to thin down a thin piece. The thing that everybody wants to do. Goodness gracious. I don't know. I hit it really, really hard and it doesn't want to go. That one I hit softly. And look at that. There's a narrow range I'm finding out on this stuff. Yep. You hit it too hard and it'll crack. You don't hit it hard enough, it'll crack. You just gotta find that Goldilocks range, that Goldilocks zone. Alright, so I'm gonna pressure flake it now for the most part and just leave it. Well, I gotta do some of this. Hold on. I gotta see if I can improve this a little bit. It'd be easier with indirect percussion than it would be with a pressure flaker. And yeah, I'm going to lose some length off the bottom. But it's way too crunchy and way too wonky. Yeah, I'm not even going to try shooting in more flakes. No more thinning flakes, except maybe near the tip. One more. There's a couple good zones in there, maybe two. These shouldn't be too bad. Let's see. Yeah. It's still a little stipiocious, but it wasn't too bad. Right? Or no? I don't know. Looks more crunchy than ever. The terminations are not feathery. Right? They just abruptly stop. Which is kind of good if you want an overall look of, the flakes showing up. Yeah, it's good, but if you want aesthetic smoothness, this is not a good material for that, it seems. Or I just haven't figured out its Goldilocks zone. It naps really well when it wants to. Like in the preliminary stages. But once you get down to the thinning, it doesn't like it. Like most stuff. So if you want to thin something, the moral of the story is you try to find something that likes to be thinned. and then you pretend it doesn't like it, and you can look really good. You can look really amazing. Whereas if you find something that doesn't really thin well, you look like you're a complainer and you fuss. And, yeah. Alright. Soon enough. I was working on one piece for a guy at the Knapping. He goes, "When you gonna quit?" I said, "That's a good question." Let me consult my subconscious. Hey, subconscious, what are you doing? The subconscious is crickets. You don't hear nothing. You ask the subconscious something, you don't hear nothing. You know what I think? I think they chose Jiminy Cricket as your... In Pinocchio, they chose Jiminy Cricket, a cricket, as the conscious, which is the subconscious, in a way, right? You ask your subconscious what's going on, you just hear crickets. So that's Jiminy Cricket. I'm not telling you nothing. Yeah. There you go. That's where to get the idea. That's what I think. No, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know where to get the idea for a cricket being your conscience. The only thing I can think of is when you ask your subconscious a question, you're not going to get no answer. Yeah. All you hear is crickets. Alright, we're going to step our way to the finish line. It's going to be all flakery. No smoothness on this one. But it does thin down. I mean, I gotta give it that. I'm not that worried about snapping it in half. It doesn't feel snappery. Although I could have been lucky this whole time. It doesn't feel snappery. And it feels like it can be sharpened really well. So I think artifacts were made of this stuff heated. I see a lot of the common errors that I'm making on the real artifacts too. Termination's not complete. They're like this. They're not feathery in many cases. They have abrupt stops. Because it doesn't want to be a thin point. That kind of thing. You know, you try to make a thin point, it gets angry. It's not going to cooperate with the terminations. It's going to go, yeah, it knows what you want, but it's not going to give it. Nope. No. It's not going to give it up. Let's see. So yeah, I've got more of this stuff. So I'll be napping a little bit more of it. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll save it for my natural tools, my abo or natural tools. You see how Antler does with this. Because if I think artifacts were made of this stuff in a heat treated state, it would make sense that I try to nap this with natural tools. Like anything else, I guess. But I believe a lot of artifacts were made from it. Try napping it with natural tools and see how it works out. Maybe it works a little bit better. Yeah, it is possible. It is possible the steel is a little bit too harsh, or the same with the aluminum. May be too harsh on this stuff to produce results that look authentic. Usually the results are not much different than the authentic ones. You know, you can get very similar flakes with different tools. There's not a signature. I don't believe in signatures of flakes, because a flake, there's at least 2 different ways to make the same exact flake. So you can't go by, oh, there's just one unique way to make it. No. Can't go by that rule. I've learned over time there's at least 2 different ways to make the same exact flake, and they are significantly different ways, either in the type of tool or the practice required with each tool, or there's a learning curve. Something is significantly different. You know, you could be using the same tool, but using it in a different way. Like an antler tine can be used for pressure, or it can be used for indirect percussion. Same antler tine and everything, making the same flakes, but indirect percussion is very different from pressure as far as learning curve goes. So even it's the same tool, same angles, same objective, the way to do it is totally different. Because of the way you have to learn to utilize the antler tine. Alright, let's take the glove off. Maybe that's interfering somewhat with the travel of the flakes. I mentioned that before in another video, that the glove might be too shock absorbing, and it absorbs shock that could be transmitted to the flake and make it travel better. Yeah, that's a possibility that I haven't really explored. Some guys might be way ahead of me saying, yeah, it does affect your napping because it's a cushion. Anybody can contemplate that and put that in their thought experiment. That's an easy one. Yeah. But that's all it is right now, is contemplation. I don't know if that's actually the case. It feels like it is the case, because when I take the glove off, the results vary. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Something's going on with the difference. Yep. Come on. I'm still getting Crackiola pudding, but it's not too bad. Is it going to do it? Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah. Not too shabby. I think maybe the glove is absorbing some shock that should be reserved for the flaking. I'm robbing the flaking of its true potential because of safety. No, in general, I think it's worth it to wear the glove, because it's, if you got to do a lot of points, you don't want to be messing your fingers up. But when you have to be persnickety, I think bare-fingered is good for the persnickety. Yeah, I'm learning. But I don't have to do that very often. Alright, my battery's about to run out on the phone anyway. I could go a little bit further with this whole endeavor. trying to maximize the amount of thinness I can get and challenge my ability to the fullest. Yeah, it's just challenging me. Did it work? Kind of. It's thin. Thin enough. Yep. On real artifacts, sometimes they didn't even shape the tips very well. They just left them all kind of wonky. I have a little bit of a obsession with making sure the tip is centered or looks symmetrical or whatever. Yeah, and looks good from the side profile. On real artifacts, I've seen the tips get all wonky up here. Right at the very end, they're not straight. Sometimes, right? I don't even know if it's most of the time or just sometimes. Most of the time, the edges are not straight. But also, most of the time, they try to take down that edge as thin as possible. See, I leave my edges a little bulky. On some of these artifacts, these edges are so thin all the way down. There's not an abrupt change in thickness. A lot of them there is an abrupt change where it's very thin on the edge, but it gets fat quick. Some points are very gradual in the thinness or the thickness. It gets very thin even before the edge, and it gets even thinner at the edge. So the edge is so delicate, there's no way to run any percussion flakes, I don't think. It has to be pressure of some sort. Or could be indirect percussion with very, very tiny platforms. There's a lump there, but I'm not going to mess with it. Yeah. Not going to mess with it. It does feel sharp, so this heat treat is sharpenable. That counts for a lot. Some heat treats will crush at the edges really bad. This kind of does a little bit. It gets a little bit crackly, but it's not too bad. It does feel sharp. All right. Okay. Very interesting. I don't nap this type of material very often. It still feels. It feels like it's raw. It's not glossy or waxy or anything. But it certainly doesn't want to cooperate when being thinned. All right. There you go. Let's turn it a different way this time. All right.